Right now, airlines around the world have placed firm orders for more than 17,000 new commercial jets. Every single one of them will be built by one of exactly 2 companies. Not 5, not 10. 2. One based in a Seattle suburb, the other in a mid-sized French city most people couldn't point to on a map. That's it. That's the entire list of companies on Earth capable of building a passenger jet with more than 100 seats. Not a short list, the whole list. Airplane manufacturing might be the hardest industry in the world to break into. Harder than making microchips, harder than building rockets. And once you understand why, you understand something much bigger about how the modern economy actually protects the companies already on top. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why an industry that once had more than a dozen major manufacturers collapsed down to 2, why the walls keeping everyone else out are getting higher, not lower, what happened to every company that tried to break in and failed, and why even China, with the full weight of its government behind it, still can't crack this open. Rewind to the 1950s, and the skies looked completely different. Boeing was building airliners, sure, but so was Douglas. So was Lockheed. So was Convair. Britain had de Havilland and Vickers. France had Sud Aviation. A dozen serious companies, all competing for the same airlines. Then, one by one, almost all of them disappeared. Lockheed built the L-1011 TriStar, lost roughly $2.5 billion on it, and quietly walked away from commercial jets for good in 1981. Convair had already bailed a decade earlier after its own airliner program bled the company dry. Meanwhile, in Europe, a different strategy was forming. In 1970, France, West Germany, and later the UK and Spain merged their fragmented national aerospace industries into a single consortium built specifically to challenge American dominance. They called it AIRBUS. It wasn't really a company at first. It was closer to a government-backed joint venture designed to make sure Europe wasn't permanently dependent on American planes. By the 1990s, the field had narrowed to 3 real players: Boeing, Airbus, and McDonnell Douglas, the last major American holdout. Then in 1997, Boeing bought McDonnell Douglas outright. And just like that, the list went from 3 to 2. It's stayed at 2 ever since. Because here's where it gets uncomfortable if you think this is just a story about one country's dominance. The barrier isn't Boeing. It isn't even Airbus. It's something both companies built together, on purpose, without ever having to say a word to each other. Surprise number 1, the price of admission. Developing a single new commercial jet from scratch cost somewhere between $10 and $20 billion. The Boeing 777 program alone cost an estimated $10 to $12 billion. The Airbus A380 cost about $16 billion, and Airbus still only sold a quarter of the 1,500 planes it expected to. That money gets spent years before a single plane is delivered. Design, wind tunnel testing, safety certification, building entirely new factories, and tooling. All of it happens for roughly a decade before the company sees its first real dollar of revenue. Most industries measure return on investment in quarters. This one measures it in decades, and sometimes it never comes at all. And that's just the entry fee. Here's where the real moat shows up, the part almost nobody outside the industry actually understands. Surprise number 2, it isn't really about the money. It's about the backlog. Boeing and Airbus combined are sitting on an order backlog stretching close to a decade into the future. Airlines that want a new jet today are already standing in a line that doesn't end until the mid-2030s. That backlog is the real fortress because it means no airline is desperate. Nobody's forced to gamble on an unproven manufacturer just to get a plane, because the two incumbents already have more demand than they can physically build. And no airline wants to be the first customer for a jet with 0 years of safety data, 0 spare parts network, and 0 trained mechanics anywhere in the world. Even a company with the money to build a great plane runs into this exact wall. Bombardier spent roughly $6 billion developing its C-Series jet. By most accounts, a genuinely excellent aircraft. It still couldn't survive alone. In 2018, Bombardier handed a majority stake to Airbus for $1, just to get the global sales network, the supplier relationships, and the credibility it couldn't build on its own. The plane still flies today. It's just called the Airbus A220 now. So even a great plane isn't enough, which brings us to the one contender with something no private company has ever had, the backing of an entire government. And it still isn't enough. Surprise number 3, China. Beijing has poured tens of billions of dollars into COMAC, its state-owned answer to Boeing and Airbus, specifically to break this duopoly. Its C919 narrow-body entered commercial service in 2023, and on paper, it looks like exactly the kind of state-backed disruptor that could finally crack the market open. But look closer. The C919 still flies on CFM engines, a joint venture between America's GE and France's Safran, because China doesn't yet build a jet engine that can compete. It still relies on Western-made avionics and flight control systems for large parts of the aircraft. And outside of Chinese domestic carriers, almost no international airline has placed a real order, because none of the major safety regulators outside China have certified it to fly there yet. Even with unlimited state funding and total political will, COMAC has spent close to 2 decades on this program and still can't do what Boeing and Airbus can do without thinking about it. Build an engine, get certified everywhere on Earth, and convince a foreign airline to trust it with paying passengers. That's the real lesson. This was never just a money problem. It's decades of accumulated trust, supply chain, and regulatory relationships. The kind of thing you can't buy your way past, no matter how large the check is. And here's the part most people miss. This isn't just an airplane story. It's a pattern showing up across the entire modern economy. Only one company on Earth, ASML in the Netherlands, makes the machines capable of printing the most advanced computer chips. Only a handful of firms, Rolls-Royce, GE, Pratt & Whitney, Safran, can build a modern jet engine at all. In each case, the barrier isn't a single patent or a single factory. It's decades of accumulated expertise that simply cannot be rebuilt on any reasonable timeline, no matter how much money shows up. And that has a direct effect on your life, even if you've never thought about who builds the plane you're sitting in. When Boeing's 737 MAX program got grounded and then hit years of production delays, airlines worldwide couldn't get the jets they'd already paid for. Fleets aged instead of renewing. Capacity stayed tighter than it should have. And ticket prices on plenty of routes stayed higher than they would have in a market with more than 2 suppliers to choose from. Every time a flight gets delayed because of a parts shortage, or a route gets cut because an airline can't get the new jet it ordered 5 years ago, you're feeling the downstream effect of an industry where there simply isn't a third option to call. So if 2 companies can quietly lock up control of every commercial flight on the planet, ask yourself what happens when it's not 2 companies, but 1. Controlling the single machine every advanced computer chip on Earth depends on. Because that company exists, it has almost no competitors, and almost nobody has ever heard its name. The full story on the company that actually controls the chip industry is coming up next.